Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha, Lakshmi Narasimha, Jayo Lakshmi Narasimha. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Yom Vishnupat Param Sparvarajkacharya Ashtotar Shata Hishtavan Sabai Charnar Vanda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON founder Acharya BPT founder Acharya over the whole world Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki Srimad Bhagavatam ki Nitai Gaur Premanam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhaktir Bhauti Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 28, Text number 4. Ahimsa Satyam Asteyam. Ahimsa Satyam Asteyam. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapaha Saucham. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyayaha Purusharchanam. Swadhyayaha Purusharchanam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam.
Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam.
Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, refraining from theft. Yavat Artha, as much as necessary. Parigraha, possessing. Brahmacharyam, celibacy. Tapaha, austerity. Saucham, cleanliness. Swa adhyayaha, study of the Vedas. Purusharchanam, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. One should practice non-violence and truthfulness, should avoid thieving, and be satisfied with possessing as much as he needs for his maintenance. He should abstain from sex life, perform austerity, be clean, study the Vedas, and worship the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please repeat the translation. One should practice non-violence and truthfulness, should avoid thieving, and be satisfied with possessing as much as he needs for his maintenance. He should abstain from sex life, perform austerity, be clean, study the Vedas, and worship the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Purusharchanam in this verse means worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially the form of Lord Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed by Arjuna that Krishna is the original Purusha or the personality of Godhead. Purusham Shashvatam. Therefore, in yoga practice, one not only must concentrate his mind on the person of Krishna, but must also worship the form or deity of Krishna daily. A brahmachari practices celibacy, controlling his sex life. One cannot enjoy unrestricted sex life and practice yoga. This is rascaldom. So-called yogis advertise that one can go on enjoying as one likes and simultaneously become a yogi. But this is totally unauthorized. It is very clearly explained here that one must observe celibacy. Brahmacharya means that one leads his life simply in relationship with Brahman or in full Krishna consciousness. Those who are too addicted to sex life cannot observe the regulations which will lead them to Krishna consciousness. Sex life should be restricted to persons who are married. A person whose sex life is restricted in marriage is also called a brahmachari. The word asteyam is also very important for yogi. Asteyam means to refrain from theft. In the broader sense, everyone who accumulates more than he needs is a thief. According to spiritual communism, one cannot possess more than he needs for his personal maintenance. That is the law of nature. Anyone who accumulates more money or more possessions than he needs is called a thief. And one who simply accumulates wealth without spending for sacrifice or for worship of the personality of Godhead is a great thief. Swadhyaya means reading the authorized Vedic scriptures. Even if one is not Krishna conscious and is practicing the yoga system, he must read standard Vedic literatures in order to understand. Performance of yoga alone is not sufficient. Narottam Das Thakura, a great devotee and Acharya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, says that all spiritual activities should be understood from three sources, namely saintly persons, standard scriptures, and the spiritual master. These three guides are very important for progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master prescribes standard literature for the prosecution of the yoga of devotional service, and he himself speaks only from scriptural reference. Therefore, reading standard scriptures is necessary for executing yoga. Practicing yoga without reading the standard literature is simply a waste of time. Doesn't say Bhaktivedanta purport. Om ajnanatimira jnananjana shalakaya chakshuram militam yena tasmai shri gurave namaha namavom vishnupadaya krishna preshtaya bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Kadadhara Shivasadi Gaurabhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in these verses, Lord Kapila Deva is explaining about the rules to be followed if one wants to become advancement in yoga, the precautions what he has to maintain. So certain principles are laid here in this verse and next couple of verses, which will enhance the performance of yoga if you follow them. Ahimsa Satyam Asteyam. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, not to become a thief. Yavat artha parigraha, be satisfied with whatever is provided by the Lord. Brahmacharyam tapassaucham, following celibacy. Tapaha, austerity. Saucham, cleanliness. Swadhyaya purusharchanam. Swadhyaya, study of the Vedas. Purusharchanam, worshipping the deity of the Lord. So in this, the essential things are, he has to worship the deity daily, even though he is meditating upon the form of Lord. Still, worship of deity is essential. And study of Vedas is also essential. So to practice, even though if he may not be a non-devotee who is practicing yoga, he has to study standard Vedic literatures. And it is said not to accumulate more than what is required, or else we become thief. Like Ishopanishad also says, Isha Vashamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagathyam Jagat Tena Tektena Bhunjita Magrada Kasyashvidhanam. Everything is a property of the Lord. And everybody has been given a definite amount for his custody. If somebody tries to squeeze away from somebody else or tries to loot others or go against the system of the Lord, he becomes a thief. That's what defined here as asteyam. For a practitioner of yoga to become conscious of items and to become possessive of items is something like it is against his practicing of yoga. And practicing yoga without reading the standard literatures will also be simply a waste of time. Theory should be there, practical should also be there. So theory will be the guidelines, what to do, what not to do. And practical will help us at that particular moment how to react when the situation arises. So Madhvacharya, every day also he worships the deity, Lord Krishna deity. So he used to offer 8 kinds of flowers. It is called as Bhava Pushpaha. Means the emotions he used to offer to the deity as through prayers. Ahimsa Pratamam Pushpam. The first flower he offers is Ahimsa. Ahimsa Pratamam Pushpam, non-violence. Pushpam Indriya Nigraha. The second flower he used to offer was sense control. Sarvabhuta Dhaya Pushpam. The third flower he used to offer was compassion for all living entities. Kshama Pushpam Visheshataha. Then forgiveness, the fourth flower. Jnanam Pushpam Tapah Pushpam. The fifth one was knowledge. The sixth one was austerity. Shanti Pushpam Tataivacha. And the seventh one was equanimity. Satyam Ashtavidam Pushpam Vishnu Pratikaram Bhavet. Pritikaram Bhavet. And the eighth one was truthfulness, Satyam. Vishnu Pritikaram Bhavet. All these are very dear and pleasing to Lord Vishnu. See, these are all not practically offering like a flower, but it is his emotions he is offering. Bhava Pushpaha. Because Krishna is known as Bhava Grahi Janardana. He understands our Bhava. So when we are executing the process, our intention is also compulsory. With what intention are we executing? So Madhvacharya says all these things will enhance our mental clarity. You are doing deity worship, but in the mind you are thinking of something else. That is not an actual system of deity worship. Your mind should be completely focused. So when mind has to be completely focused upon the deity, you should be clean from all unwanted things. So in that way, all these things will enhance our concentration upon the deity worship. Purity, mental purity is the most important thing when you are practicing meditation. So even in Patanjali yoga system, there are 10 principles Patanjali advises for everyone to follow. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, refraining from theft. Brahmacharyam, following celibacy. Aparigraha, non-possessiveness. Saucham, cleanliness. Santoshaha, satisfaction. Tapaha, austerity. Swadhyayaha, study of Vedic literatures. Ishvara pranidhana, commitment to Lord. So in any, either in devotional yoga system or in Ashtanga yoga system, these things are all basic situations. Like whenever you come to Krishna consciousness, the first thing what we say is follow 4 regulative principles. Why 4 regulative principles? Prabhupada always says follow 4 regulative principles and chant Hare Krishna. He gives first preference to 4 regulative principles. Means what happens when we practice these 4 regulative principles, how it will enhance our chanting Hare Krishna. What are the 4 regulative principles? No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. All these things are generally covered in this. These 4 regulative principles are the things which break the 4 pillars of Dharma. What are the 4 pillars of Dharma? Truthfulness, compassion, austerity, cleanliness. All 4 are there here. So when you follow this, if you don't follow, what happens? We are on the animal platform. So when you follow these regulative principles, you rise from animal platform to human platform. So once you come to human platform, when you chant Hare Krishna, then you will rise from human platform to spirit platform. So in that way, we keep advancing in our spiritual perspectives. So Prabhupada had explained each item at various places in either in Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam or in lectures. We'll try to understand what are actually that elaborations are. Ahimsa means what? Generally we say non-violence. But is there any intricate definition for this ahimsa? Prabhupada explains. Ahimsa or non-violence means one should not do anything which will not put others into misery or confusion. Ahimsa means people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. See, different definitions there. Ahimsa means we think hitting somebody or torturing somebody or killing some living entity. If you are misutilizing this human form of life, not for advancement in spiritual life, it is himsa. You are torturing your own self instead of somebody else. This body has been given to you as an opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. If you are misutilizing that, you are creating violence for your own self. Then, that which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people is generally called as non-violence. One should try his best to distribute real knowledge to the people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. This is non-violence. Means if you don't preach this Krishna conscious perspective, or else people will be rotting in this material attachment. So if you see somebody suffering and if you don't help them, that is violence. So real non-violence is you teach him how he can also come out of this cycle of birth and death. How to come out of this material entanglement. This is non-violence. Real non-violence means freedom from envy. The most dangerous of the 6 things, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, is enviousness. So real non-violence is to become freedom from envy. In the material world, everybody is envious of his fellow being, but a perfect Paramahamsa, being completely given up to the service of the Lord, is perfectly non-envious. Because our material life starts with when we envy Supreme Lord Krishna. So envy is our second nature, because of which we are there in this material world. So the real non-violence is to become free from envy. Then, Satyam, truthfulness. Facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. Satyam means truthfulness. Present as it is. Bhagavad Gita as it is. Truthfulness means to speak the truth in a pleasing way as declared by great sages. The Yudhishthira Maharaj is known for his word because he always speaks as per Shastra, as per Sadhu. Truthfulness means what you preach, you must do. Achar, prachar. If I don't practice, if I keep preaching, it will not have any effect. Truthfulness means at any circumstances, one will speak truth, the plain truth. Even in most difficult circumstances, he will not leave his character. That truthfulness, he will abide by that character. Then, brahmacharyam, the importance of practicing celibacy. Yoga system is strictly celibacy, no sex life. No one can become yogi if he indulges in sex life. Because clearly Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam, those who are interested in Bhoga and Aishwarya. One who is running behind money, one who is running behind sense enjoyment. Taya apaharata chetasam, their mind has been stolen away by Maya. Bhogaishwara prasaktanam tayapharata chedasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadona vidiyate. The resolute determination to achieve success for them will not come to them because they are interested in sense enjoyment or one who is running behind money. They cannot be serious in spiritual life. So if you want sense enjoyment, you cannot become a yogi. It has to be completely refrainment from sense enjoyment. Brahmachari means complete celibacy, no amusement. Because just to train him not to be attracted by this material sense enjoyment, then he will be able to grasp what is spiritual life. Therefore, these restrictions are. So, to understand what is spiritual life, brahmacharya will help very much nicely. So, generally what happens, brahmacharya means what? Practicing celibacy. Celibacy means not to discard semen. What is this semen? The semen is the sapta dhatu in the body. There are 7 layers in our body, like skin, flesh, mamsa, blood, bone marrow, then comes semen. So, from, like Prabhupada says, 10,000 drops of blood, 1 drop of semen is produced. And what is this semen? It is life-giving capacity, life-giving potency in that semen. So, if you don't dispose this semen, what do the sages do? They consume this semen. They are known as urdhva retasaha, who raise this semen to the brain, which becomes the feeder to the brain. So when this semen is consumed through brain, they become very intelligent, they become very sharp, they become very effective in their performance. So by practicing brahmacharya, his mind becomes very effective in utilization. It becomes very concentrated in its capacity. That's why brahmacharya is recommended for those who practice yoga system. If one remains brahmachari, he becomes determined. His brain becomes very receptive. The more you restrain your sex life, the more you become strong for spiritual life. So, 2 contradicts. One you takes to the material entanglement, the other takes you to the spiritual liberation. Brahmacharya has 8 aspects. What is practically this brahmacharya? The 8 aspects of brahmacharya. One should not think of women. One should not speak about sex life or dally with women, look lustfully at women, talk intimately with women, or decide to engage in sexual intercourse, nor should one endeavor for sex life or engage in sex life. These are the 8 aspects of practicing brahmacharya. Then comes austerity, tapasya. Tapasya means voluntarily acceptance of bodily pains to achieve some higher end of life. To achieve something higher, you have to sacrifice something lower. So tapasya for spiritual advancement means to abstain from material bodily requirements, unnecessary requirements. Actually, education, tapasya means you should understand what is ultimate truth and how he is acting. Then your education, your scientific knowledge is perfect. If you want to be free from this material bondage, you have to undergo tapasya. See, various definitions are coming up. Tapasya means make these things, material necessities, 0. Because we run behind ahara, nidra, bhayamaithunam, these 4 things we run behind. So by the will of the Lord, everything will be provided to you. Like Prabhupada always gives, there are millions of living entities. They never think for tomorrow. But their food, their maintenance is taken care by the Lord. But we as human beings, we think what for tomorrow? For day after tomorrow? For my next generation? For my next generation? We become too foresighted. That is not what is required. Tapasya means to revive our original normal life of Krishna consciousness. This tapasya will bring you back to the original platform. That is Jivera Swarupahai, Krishnaera Nitya Dasa. Tapasya means we must prolong or proceed with our Krishna consciousness business in spite of all dangerous and calamitous conditions of the world. Jai Sri Sri Radha Govinda. Irrespective of situations or circumstances which are very negative for us, we should continue our Krishna consciousness. Even unfavorable situations arise, our Krishna consciousness should continue. That is also known as tapasya. Then Prabhupada explains further about cleanliness, suchihi. Cleanliness is essential for making advancement in spiritual life. It is two kinds of cleanliness. One is external cleanliness, which is pertaining to the body. The other one is internal cleanliness, to keep the mind and intelligence clean. So, Saucha means cleanliness, not only in mind and body, but also in one's dealings. So, when you are acting anything in spiritual perspective, you should be very transparent in your behavior. That is cleanliness. Cleanliness is automatically referred to as character. So, one's character reflects in one's personality. So, those who are clean, they will be able to present themselves in a proper way. And others will be able to see the words what he talk and what he implement. There is no difference. So Lord Krishna also recommends to Uddhava in 11th canto, he says certain things which are essential for everyone. He says these principles are for general populace. Means all sections of the society. Ahimsa satyam asteyam akkama krodha lobhatha bhuta priya hitehacha dharmoyam sarva varnika. Means for all varnas, these things are essential. What and all? Ahimsa satyam asteyam. Ahimsa, non-violence. Truthfulness. Asteyam, not to thieve. Akama krodha lobhata. Starting from kama to up to greediness. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. To become free from all these 6 qualities. Bhuta priya hite hacha. To think or desire for happiness and welfare of all living entities. Priya hita. To become happiness and welfare. Then dharmoyam sarva varnika. These constitute duties for all members of society. So all these things will elevate our position in spiritual life. So brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha and sannyasi, and brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra, everybody can practice all these principles. Then the last aspect what was mentioned was worship of the deity. Like Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, the most confidential knowledge. Manmanabhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your respects to me. These things are the basic things by which everybody can become connected with Krishna. So for Kali Yuga, the most and easiest thing was the worship of the deity through holy name. Nama Sankirtana. What is so special in this Nama Sankirtana? When you stand in front of the deity, when you chant this holy name, so what is so special? It is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Akrishtihi krita chetasam sumanasam uchchatanam cha amhasam. So the holy name is Akrishtihi krita chetasam. It is an attractive feature for all saintly persons. The chanting of this holy name is very attractive for all saintly persons. Sumanasam, those who are liberated personalities. Manasam, Sumanasam, those who are liberated in their mind. It is Uchchatanam cha amhasam. It is the annihilator of all sinful reactions. Chanting of this holy name. Then Achandalam amuka loka sulabho vashyascha mukti shriya. Achandalam, even a chandala. Amuka means those who are dumb and deaf, except for those who are dumb and deaf, except for the dumb who cannot chant. Amukaha. It is loka sulabha. Everybody can chant this holy name. Vashyascha mukti shriyaha. And this holy name of the Lord is the controller of opulence of liberation. Vashyaha means to control. Vashikarana means black magic they do to control. So Vashyascha mukti shriyaha. The liberation, the opulence of liberation becomes controlled by the holy name. Like for those who chant the holy name, Mukti Bhukatanjali Sevate Asman Dharmartha Kama Mokshan Samaya Pratiksha. So the liberation personified stands at the doorstep of the devotee. Those who are practicing spiritual life with folded hands says, my dear master, what can I do for you? So the chanting of the holy name is the controller of opulence of liberation. Liberation becomes very easy. It's like birthright. Then, na diksham, na cha satkriyam, na cha purascharyam, manag ikshate. This chanting of the holy name does not require any initiation, any pious activities, or regulative principles generally followed before initiation. Or it does not wait for any of these things. Manag ikshate. Ikshate means to wait. Ikshana. It is self-sufficient. The chanting itself is self-sufficient. It can liberate a personality. Mantroyam rasana sprug eva falati Sri Krishna namatmakaha. Simply by touching this holy name with one's tongue. Mantroyam rasana sprug. Rasana means the tongue. Sprug means to touch. Mantroyam, by touching this holy name by your tongue, falati evaha, it will immediately generate the result. Immediate effects, falati evaha. So that is the speciality, Sri Krishna Namatmakaha, the potency of this holy name of Lord Krishna. So in Kali Yuga, the deity worship along with this chanting of the holy name are recommended simultaneously, so that by practicing deity worship, when we become a pujari, we become very regulated in life. Because time to time, you have to be very regulative. 1 minute also late, we should not do offering or anything in the system and all. So we become very systematic in life. We become very, when we are in front of the deity, we should not think of anything or we should not talk about anything. So we become very thoughtful and very clean in thought and very clean in vyavahara. And when you chant holy name, automatically we become cleansed of all unwanted habits. So by chanting and by doing deity worship, we become a pure personality, faster pure personality, deity worship, and this chanting of the holy name. So spiritual practices in various Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, how devotees have executed various pastimes and how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reciprocated. So there was, this incident was connected with one of a great singer by name Vasudeva Ghosha, who wrote many songs about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after accepting his sannyasa initiation, he stayed for 15 days at Advaita Acharya's house. So taking permission from his mother, he started towards Puri. So first, then he walked towards from Advaita Shantipur towards Jagannath Puri. The first place where he stayed was at the house of Anantacharya, which is situated at a place called as Atisara village. For one night he stayed there. The next day he reached this place known as Tamluk, which lies in the East Midnapur district, which is around 2 hours journey from Calcutta. He stayed there at this place. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while he was coming, he was associated with Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, and one more devotee was there. 4 people was there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this place, after accepting sannyasa, first time he accepted Bhikshatana. The sannyasis generally they don't cook, they go and cook. They go and beg from everybody's house. This is known as madhukari vritti. Like honey bee, it goes and picks up little honey from every flower. It does not take honey from one flower only. It picks from every various flowers, little quantity. So sannyasi should not take from one particular house, but accept minimum from every house. Or else what happens, one particular house if he takes, he becomes attached. Oh, this house gives me luxury food, that house gives me rotten food, let me go to only this house. Again, bodily concept of life and material perspective start thinking. So he accepts from various places. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first Bhikshatana started, Madhukari Vritti started in this village. So he stayed under a tree, then he collected all the ingredients. So Jagadananda Pandit, who is known as Satyabhama, is a very good cook. So he collected all the things from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He prepared a wonderful feast. And all the villagers who had donated, they also came there and they accepted prasadam along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And everybody experienced what is spiritual life in the association of devotees. Whole night Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in kirtana and everybody enjoyed this kirtana. So everybody could not leave association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everybody were requesting him to stay. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued further. So in this place, there is one speciality. There is a deity of Lord Shiva known as Chakreshwar Shiva. Chakreshwar Shiva. This was the deity which was installed by Yudhishthira Maharaj during Dwapara Yuga. So after taking bath in the Ganges, after worshipping Lord Shiva deity, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed Sankirtan in that Prangana there. And he showed causeless mercy upon the pious residents of this Tamluk, and he sanctified the land by roaming around with the dust of his lotus feet. Bhikshalagi ekadina ekagrama giya, apane bhuta anna anila mangiya. So, for the purpose of begging, he went and he brought various categories of foods by begging from various people. So after staying for that night and doing performing Sankirtana, Lord proceeded for Remuna. Then again, second time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Bengal, after completing his South Indian trip, he wanted to proceed to Vrindavan through Bengal. So again, he came to Tamluk and again he showered the blessings onto the people there. Krame Tamluk ye uttarila ghiya, ye pate ghiya che purve, se pate dhiya. So Lord Chaitanya arrived at Tamluk, taking the same route that he had once taken before, the forward path. Again, he used the same path for the reverse path also. So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepting sannyasa and settled down in Jagannath Puri, he instructed his associates to go back and preach at various places. So Nityananda Prabhu was also sent to Bengal. Along with Nityananda Prabhu, these brothers, Madhava Ghosh, Vasudeva Ghosh, and Govinda Ghosh, they also have been sent to different parts of Bengal to preach and enhance the people in their spiritual advancements there. So Vasudeva Ghosh, his lineage is explained. There is a place known as Katwa where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted his sannyasa from Keshav Kashmiri. So 20 kilometers west of Katwa on the river, Ajaya river, there is a village known as Kulai. There are 3 stalwart Vaishnavas in this village, Govinda Ghosh, Madhava Ghosh and Vasudeva Ghosh. These 3 brothers possess very melodious voice. And their songs provided a lot of delight for Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, who used to dance to their tunes. Govinda Madhava Vasudeva Tine Bai E Sabara Kirtane Nache Chaitanya Nithai. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu used to dance to the tunes of all these 3 brothers. So in their house there used to stand one tall neem tree. Later Narahari Sarkara used that wood to make 3 deities of Lord Chaitanya, exhibiting his mood as intoxicated form, Rasaraja Mahabhava. The tallest deity known as, the tallest deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there at Katwa, at the place known as Gauranga Bhari, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted his sannyasa. The smallest deity lies in the house of Narahari Sarkar at Srikanda. And the medium deity is there in Ekachakradama. So from that one tree, from their house, 3 deities were installed at 3 different places. Their father's name was Ballava Ghosh. After his departure, after his father went to Halsihar, the 3 brothers moved to Navadvipa. They stayed in the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. They became intimate associates of the Lord. According to Gaura Ganodesh Deepika, these 3 were the Manjaris who were helping Vishaka Devi in Krishna's life, in Krishna's pastimes. Their names were Kalavati, Rasollasa and Gunatunga. And they used to provide immense pleasure to Radha and Krishna by their singing. So all the 3 people have come to again help Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda by their singing process. So Govinda Ghosh selected various places, Madhav Ghosh selected some other place. So Vasudev Ghosh selected this Tamluk as his place to stay. He exactly stayed at the place where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted the Bhiksha and honored the Prasadam after accepting sannyasa. So Madhav Ghosh established his Bhajan Kutir at Daini Hut near Katwa. Vasudev Ghosh settled at Tamluk. And Govinda Ghosh settled at Agradweep, which is near Mayapur. He preached the philosophy of Bhakti Yoga to all the local people. And by his songs, even stones and wood used to melt. Vasudeva Gita Kare Prabhura Varnane Kasta Pashana Drave Yahara Shravane. Kasta, wood, Pashana means stone. Drave Yahara Shravane. Even by hearing his songs, when wood and stone used to melt. So this place is also known as Narapota. So after hearing that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has disappeared from this material world, Vasudeva Gosha and his wife decided that they will also quit their world. Because they heard it in the evening, they could not die in the evening. They thought, tomorrow morning we will go and we will finish off this life. He instructed all his servants to dig a pit and bury him alive. In that way, they wanted to sacrifice their life. So wife, she said, I can also not tolerate from your separation. So both wife and husband, whole night they have been crying. They have been waiting for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And next day morning, they sat down into the pit. They closed their eyes with, with their cloth. They closed their eyes. And they instructed the assistants to cover the pit even when they are alive. Their assistants, their servants, they are also devotees by practicing bhakti. Even though they did not want, but to follow their order of their master is very important. When they became ready, suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared there and spoke to his brothers, Vasudeva Ghosh and his wife. Who ordered you to die? I did not give you permission. This body belongs to me. How you can take your own independent decision? You are here to preach. You cannot stop this preaching work and decide of your independent way that you will quit this life. So hearing the voice like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, since his eyelids are covered, Vasudeva Ghosh asked, who are you? Nishchaya tajibat prana sakshat adarshane mati kuri nija deha diba visarjane. So I am Nishchaya Kari, I have decided. Prana Sakshat Adarshane. Tejiva, I will quit this life because Adarshana, I could not have darshan of Lord Chaitanya. Mati Kure Nija Deha Diva Visarjane. Mati Kure means into this pit. I will Visarjana, I will discard this body and all of you can fill it with the mud. This was his decision. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his mercy, the eyelids were opened. The cloth covering their lids has been finished. So when they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu there, they became very happy and they came out, fell down his lotus feet and they begged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please give one benediction. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them, please take one, accept one benediction. Then Vasudeva prayed that his only one desire was to always reside with Lord Chaitanya at that place. So Lord immediately agreed, and bound by the love of Vasudeva, Chaitanya eternally resides there and performs magnanimous pastimes in the transcendental abode of Tamluk. And Lord Chaitanya also declared to the whole world, this place became known as king of all pilgrimages. Whoever obtains the darshan of his deity at this place shall get pure devotion and return back home, back to Godhead after finishing this bodily part of this life. So because he attempted to quit his life by burying life into this pit, Nara means Sharira and Pota means a pit or to be buried. This place became known as Nara Pota, because where devotee wanted to bury himself alive. There is one bakula tree next, and when he passed away, the pit which was dug earlier, he was again placed into the same pit, and his body was covered and samadhi was done there itself. And next to that pit was lying one bakula tree which stood stand as witness for entire of these pastimes. Even that tree is there for today also, which existed 500 years back. That bakula tree. One day this Nitai deity, which is worshipped by Vasudeva Ghosh, was hidden because of one local tantric had influenced the king that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be banned from this place and the deity worship should be banned. The pujari, fearing for the deity to be destroyed, took up the deity and ran away to some other place and settled in his village there. After a few years, maybe 40 years or 50 years or 60 years, when Shyamananda Prabhu came to there, he drove away that tantric from that place, and by the divine inspiration of Lord Chaitanya, he went to that pujari's place and retrieved the deity and placed it back into the temple here. He transformed the king's heart and became instrumental in driving away that sinful tantric. Then people of Tamluk again became spiritually ecstatic by possessing the deity of Lord Chaitanya back. So see how Lord Chaitanya performs his pastimes. So devotional service is a one by which deity gets connected. One gets connected to the deity. That Purusharchanam, what it is mentioning here, worship of the deity is essential so that the devotee mind becomes fixed upon to that personality. So that he does not run around here hankering for any other diversions. So further aspects will be delineated in the further verses. We'll see in the next verses. We'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Vishwaguru